So the San Diego Padres have just been eliminated from playoff contention. By far, probably the biggest disappointment of all teams this year. The Padres were a huge disappointment this year. Everything that could have went wrong for this Padres team went wrong this year. So in today's video, we're going to look at the San Diego Padres offseason. There's already an expected big shakeup this offseason. So we're going to look at the San Diego Padres offseason, as this is going to be my first offseason really video talking about a team's offseason. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications, because a lot more of these videos are going to be coming out. I don't know which day I'm going to do them on. I think I'm probably going to do them every Monday or Wednesday. It doesn't really matter. I think the next one I am going to do is going to be the New York Mets, as they also recently just got eliminated for postseason contention. So let's go ahead and talk about the Padres offseason, though. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications. But let's go ahead and get into this video. Let's start off with the basics first for the San Diego Padres team, and the basics are the Untouchables. And the Untouchables clearly are Fernando Tatis Jr., who could be the National League MVP this year, and is clearly an untouchable. They are not going to think about trading Fernando Tatis Jr. at all. Another untouchable is Manny Machado. Manny Machado is definitely an untouchable for this team. You're not going to trade Manny Machado. Other untouchables that you might think are untouchables, but I kind of left off this list: Jake Cronenworth, Adam Frazier, some of those guys you might think, even a Joe Musgrove you think be on this list. But yeah, so step one is, for anything really positive to happen for the Padres, they must trade Eric Hosmer or Will Myers, which will most likely require them to part with prospects due to how bad of contracts Eric Hosmer and Will Myers have. So that's step one of getting their offseason right. They have to trade either Eric Hosmer or Will Myers, get off that contract, and that's going to open them quite a bit of money that they could possibly spend, whether that's in free agency or via trade target. So that's going to be a big, big thing there that they really need. So they're going to have to trade Eric Hosmer or Will Myers. I personally really think they should trade Eric Hosmer. Step two to the Padres offseason is a big one, and that's going to be fire their manager, Jace Tingler. They underperformed last year, I thought, kind of. And that's in a shortened season in 2020, but they really underperformed this year. And they've got to get rid of Jace Tingler. Jace Tingler is not a terrible manager, but I don't think coming into a competing World Series contender-type team like the Padres are being was really a good start for Jace Tingler for a first-time manager like him. So this year, the Padres are at a 78-77 record. Not a good record at all. This Padres team is not even close to competing with the Dodgers, nor the Giants, which nobody thought the Giants would be the team they are coming into the season. So here's the thing. You've got to look at the other manager candidates, because with a manager firing, you want a better manager, or what you think is a better manager. So we're going to look at some other manager options. The first one's Bruce Bochy. If he's willing to come back, Bruce Bochy and the San Diego Padres seem like a good option. That's really where he started off his career, as not only a catcher, but as a manager as well, is where he started off in San Diego. And obviously the Giants aren't going to be firing Gabe Kapler after how good he's done. So if Bruce Bochy wants to come back, the Padres are definitely a team. And he brings a ton of experience to this team. Multiple World Series. It's something that they could very much so use. Another manager option is Carlos Beltran. Carlos Beltran is a guy that was going to get the Mets job, but instead he didn't because of the Astros cheating scandal back in 2017. But still, I think teams are going to take a look at Carlos Beltran, and I think Carlos Beltran might be a very good guy for a team like this. I think that he's definitely should be in consideration for this job. It's not like he has really any connection to the Padres, but he's going to be a really good manager, because this is a guy who hasn't been out of the major leagues for long. Fernando Tatis probably either looked up to him, or they're going to respect Carlos Beltran and what he does. Another one is Jay Bell. He's the Yankees AA manager in Trenton. Some more info on Jay Bell. Played 18 years in the majors, known as a great teacher of young players. He was a hitting coach with the Pirates and a bench coach with the Diamondbacks previously. So Jay Bell definitely has the experience, and a couple of those things are exactly what the Padres are looking for. He's a great teacher of young players, which is exactly what they need. They have a lot of young players on their team. And he played 18 years in the majors, so he has that experience as well. He has everything that they would want. I think they should bring in Jay Bell as their new manager. he would be a very, very good fit. The other option I have is Joe Espada. He's the Astros third base coach. I know a lot of Astros 2017 connections here, but I think they should go with Jay Bell, the Yankees AA manager in Trenton. Let's go ahead and go to the next thing now. We're going to look at an Eric Hosmer mock trade. And this is one that might be a little controversial, but I think it's Eric Hosmer that needs to be traded. The first one I've got is Hosmer and Joshua Mears, an outfielder, their number 7 prospect, to the Texas Rangers. So in this trade, the Rangers don't have to give anything back because they're taking all the bad contract here, and they don't have the bad contract that could go back to the Padres in this case. There's no bad contract. They're basically just gonna get in for nothing. They're just gonna be taking on the bad contract of Eric Hosmer and getting an outfield prospect, which is definitely something they need. And Joshua Mears, they definitely could use some outfield prospects in their farm system. And yeah, I think that would be a pretty solid trade. For the Padres, at least, just getting off the contract is really what matters in this situation. You're not going to get anybody good back for him. You can just go ahead and say that, you just need to get off this contract at this point. Another one is Hosmer and Justin Lang, a right-hander, their number 8 prospect to the Cubs. That's another interesting trade that they could possibly do. I think that they might prefer the one to the Cubs. I mean, maybe even the Rangers. But, I mean, you would think the Cubs because, it's going to hurt another NL team. But yeah, there are a couple teams that could take on the contract of Eric Hosmer, but no team would be really happy about taking it on unless you're going to get a prospect like Joshua Mears or Justin Lang. Now, let's go ahead and look at some needs this offseason. Outfield help. That's something that they could use, whether that's in center field, left field kind of is a need. Tommy Pham hasn't performed particularly well this year. So they could use that, and probably a left fielder is the main use. Just some kind of versatile outfielder not named Jake Marisnick. And the other need, I just put in my notes, pitching exclamation marks, because they need pitching, and they really need pitching. It's almost sad how bad they need pitching, because Joe Musgrove has been very good this year. Yu Darvish has underperformed. He's still going to be in their rotation next year. Same thing with Blake Snell. Those are kind of the 3 guys that are going to be in their rotation next year. Chris Paddock's a question mark. He's been terrible. All right, so let's go and start with some free agent targets that they could possibly look at. We're going to go over 5 this offseason that they should really target and look at this offseason. First one is a bigger one, and that's Marcus Stroman of the New York Mets. I think they could definitely look at him. They need starting pitching, and Marcus Stroman would be a very good addition to this team. Marcus Stroman is a guy that kind of fits. He's been in a big market before, and I think he just fits the Padres team all around. I think Marcus Stroman is the number 1 guy they should target in the offseason. And with how good of a year he's had, they could use Marcus Stroman big time. And it will make their team a lot better. He was a free agent last winter as well and accepted the qualifying offer from the Mets. And for him in 2021, he is 9-13, not a lot of run support. But with a 3 ERA, he's had a great year and a lot of innings pitched. And this is a guy that they're definitely going to look at. Marcus Stroman definitely should be their number 1 target. Their number 2 target it's a backup for Marcus Stroman, and that's Kevin Gausman of the Giants this year. Kevin Gausman's had a great year, has only improved since going to the Giants. And Gausman's like a backup plan. Gausman's more of an ace type player, but I think he could be 1 through 3 or 4 in this rotation. Kevin Gausman is a guy, I think Marcus Stroman's going to cost a little less than Kevin Gausman. So they could get Marcus Stroman for a little bit less, but I think they're going to be both in about the same range. And if you really think about this, Kevin Gausman might be his only other destination he might want to go, might want to be back to the Giants. So you could make a team in your division worse while also getting you a lot better in what you need, instead of like the Braves were trying to do last year, trying to bring in JT Realmuto. Next one is Kevin Pillar. This is an outfield versatile guy who's going to help out in the outfield, in left field. That's really the only reason why they're going to sign him. There's no other reason why they're going to sign him at all besides outfield versatility, and that's really it. Adam Duvall is the next guy. Adam Duvall is another guy who's going to bring outfield versatility. He can play left, center, or right. And this guy who's going to hit for a ton of power, not going to hit for a tremendously high average, but is going to have a ton of power at left field. In this case, Adam Duvall is definitely somebody they could look at, and they're going to get him at a pretty cheap price, and I think they could get him maybe for just a little more than Kevin Pillar. And the final was Jake Diekman of the Oakland Athletics. He's just a good left-handed arm they could bring into their bullpen. I think they could definitely use a guy like Jake Diekman. Now let's move into the 4 trade targets that I have. The first one is another left-hander, Tanner Scott of the Baltimore Orioles. Tanner Scott's they could get a little bit back for him. He's the guy that's not a part of their future, not a part of that future rebuild that's in Baltimore, where they have one of the better farm systems in baseball. So Tanner Scott is not a big part of it. They could get some prospects back for him, and it's not going to hurt if he turns into a great player in the future. He's in a whole nother division. Doesn't even matter. Next trade target is really backup if they don't get Kevin Gausman or Marcus Stroman in free agents, or just particularly don't want to go the free agent route. And that's Sonny Gray of the Cincinnati Reds. And this, like I said in my notes, if they do not get Stroman or Gausman, but Sonny Gray is not a bad option either. Like Sonny Gray, arguably when he's on, could be just as good as Stroman or Gausman. Sonny Gray is a very good pitcher, and after the Reds have not disappointed this year, but definitely have disappointed a little bit considering that second wild card spot was open for their taking, and they absolutely just did not do anything. And the final 2 are Chicago Cubs players. The first one's Wilson Contreras of the Chicago Cubs. I've kind of said this for a while, that the Padres should definitely be thinking about getting a player like Wilson Contreras, because Luis Campesino never really showed up and never really been that great catcher that we really thought he was going to be, and maybe he's a player that's going to go back in this trade. And so, yeah, Austin Nola has been good, but I think Wilson Contreras would be a great upgrade at the catcher position. And, yeah, next and final one is Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs. Again, Kyle Hendricks is a guy that, could be the 1, 2, 3, 4 in this rotation. You don't really know. But they have had experience trading with the Cubs and their starting pitchers before. And like I said, you don't know who's going to be included back in this trade. But the Padres, what a lot of people don't realize is they've made their big trades, but they haven't gave up a ton of prospects. That's the good situation that San Diego's in right now. They haven't gave up a ton of prospects, and Kyle Hendricks, they're going to have to give up some prospects, but it's not going to be an insane amount. And the Cubs are going to be looking to trade a Wilson Contreras or Kyle Hendricks this offseason for sure. And now let's go ahead and look at their own free agents. We're going to just do bring back or let them walk. Mark Melancon, bring back. It's pretty simple. Bring him back. He's been the closer. Daniel Hudson, walk. Not been a good trade deadline pickup. Craig Stammen, also bring back. Jurickson Profar, walk. Tommy Pham, bring back. Walk. Jake Marisnick, walk. And bring back Keona Kela. So, yeah, what I think they should do is I think they should really target outfield help, versatile outfield help and pitching this offseason. And the Padres really need to get healthy as well. They weren't really healthy for most of the season. They need to figure out with Fernando Tatis' shoulder, they need to help that out. So if this team could get healthy, they're going to be a very good team. But if this team stays not healthy and they perform like they did this year, which was an absolutely terrible year for this San Diego Padres team, they must play better. It's terrible how bad they played. So this team must play better next year. It's already seen that the Giants are going to be good. Whether that's next year, you don't know with all the free agents that they have. But the Dodgers are going to be really good again next year. So this team definitely needs to make some offseason upgrades, especially in the pitching category and outfield help. And, trading Eric Hosmer is the big key to their offseason. And fire Jace Tingler. He's just not done it. A.J. Preller has made some crazy moves, and Adam Frazier has definitely not lived up to the hype so far. So Adam Frazier also needs to step it up, and that will help them a lot as well. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications. Because, like I said, a lot of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead, get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.